All right, hi, Miss Catalina. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Lucas. I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well. Welcome back to part 2.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, you ready to learn what we got down today?
I'm sure I'm ready to learn.
So today we're going to learn about vape contents and their chemical risks.
Oh, okay.
So last week we kind of got a brief introduction on popcorn lung.
Yeah.
You kind of gave us what it is, what it causes, but today we're going to do a little bit more deep dive into what popcorn lung is and how it affects our body. Okay, so I'm going to start with the flavoring chemicals that Miss Catalina went over with you last time. So the flavoring chemicals are added into the vapes to make them more appealing, especially to young people, to make them, but many are unsafe and are very dangerous to you and your body. So the first major chemical that we found that causes risks to young folks is called diacetyl.
Yes.
And diacetyl, it was originally used in popcorn factories.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Microwavable popcorn.
That's where they must have gotten the name from.
Yep, in the early 2000s, about 2010 to 2012, these factory workers in these microwavable popcorn factories were complaining about not being able to breathe correctly. They were having shortness of breath, they were wheezing, they were coughing, and a lot of the officials, they were trying to figure out what the heck was happening, right?
Yeah.
Why are all these factory workers getting sick with the same thing?
Exactly.
So they looked into it, and they found that they were using this chemical, diacetyl. Now, diacetyl is safe to ingest if you eat it.
Okay.
It is very safe. The chemicals in your stomach, the lining and whatnot, break down the harmful things that cause risk to your body, and it's able to digest it and then, release it. But when you inhale it, your body doesn't do the same thing. Your body, instead of being able to process it and get rid of the harmful chemicals, your lungs don't really do that. Your lungs weren't made to process vape aerosol. Your lungs were only made, for oxygen. Breathe in oxygen and then you let out the carbon dioxide, I believe. So it's not really supposed to be used for any sort of thing that you're ingesting. So when you're ingesting cigarette smoke, it causes harm, as we all know through the studies that we've seen in the school and whatnot.
Yes.
But with vapes, because of how new they are, we didn't know that that would happen.
Correct.
So when factory officials knew that diacetyl was causing these reactions to the factory workers, they stopped using it.
Awesome.
And they have found safer ways to use diacetyl. If they do use it, they have found safer ways. And popcorn lung within those factory workers has significantly decreased now that they found it. But unfortunately, vape officials have started using this to flavor the buttery flavors that you mentioned last week.
Yes.
Popcorn, butter, vanilla, anything that's baked, really. Anything that has bread or anything that's in it like that probably has the chemical diacetyl in it. Now, depending on how often you hit your vape and how often you're ingesting these chemicals, just really depends if you will contract that popcorn lung. Popcorn lung is rare to contract, but when you do contract it, it's irreversible. There's no way that any scientist or doctor right now can do to reverse the effects of popcorn lung.
So could I get on a list to have my lungs transplanted? Could I get on a transplant list?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just as every other American, you have the right to be on the transplant list, right?
Yeah.
But just as, do you know what the procedure is if an alcoholic goes in for a liver transplant?
I do not. Could you inform me?
Yeah, absolutely. So if an alcoholic goes in for a liver transplant, they're usually at the bottom priority list.
Oh.
And the reason being is because typically with alcoholism, you do it to yourself.
Correct.
It's self-inflicted.
Right.
Now, it's the same thing with vaping. When you vape and you do contract the popcorn lung, unfortunately, it does cause those effects to you.
Yeah.
And what it looks like in your lungs is popcorn. That's what the name is, popcorn lung. So if you would imagine like a bag of our movie theater popcorn, right, in the bucket that you get or the bag that you get, what it looks like in that, if you were to imagine that in the black and white form in a CT scan and you imagine it inside lungs, that's exactly what it's going to look like. Now the reason it's being is the vape aerosol that goes into your lungs, there's nowhere for it to go. Right, it gets stuck to the air pockets in your lungs, and it just stays. Right, it's an oil. It just stays. There's not really any way to rinse out your lungs. Right,
Exactly.
Can't really rinse them out with water. So what do your lungs do? When they get this foreign object into it, this foreign substance, it's freaking out. It can't process it. It's wondering what the heck it needs to do. So it goes into, we need to protect the lungs. And the way it does that is it isolates the oil that's stuck on your lungs, on these air pockets, isolates it, and it creates this substance around it that looks like that popcorn, that looks like those clumps. Now, once that substance is around it and it's encased that oil, there's nothing we can do. Once it's there, it's there. No doctor can go in and cut it open and, you know, get rid of that popcorn because it's part of your flesh now. It's part of your lungs.
Yeah.
So in order to get rid of that popcorn lung, if you do get it, will be a transplant. But unfortunately, since it was self-induced, you'll be on the lowest priority.
And that's why I don't vape, guys.
Yep. So, let's see. Is there anything else? All right, so the connection to vape. So I already mentioned to you that the factory workers figured out the diacetyl and the fumes were making them contract popcorn lung. And that same chemical is used in the e-liquids that create that vape aerosol that get into your lungs. Inhalation of those substances can lead to severe inflammation and permanent scarring within those lungs. And research has found that diacetyl and acetone, which, do you know what acetone is?
That sounds like something I use on my nails.
That is exactly something you use on your nails. That is nail polish remover. That is something that is used to get up acrylic nails, gel polish, that stuff. That's very, very heavy duty stuff.
Very heavy. It
It stinks incredibly, and it's very easy to burn yourself with it, right? So when you're ingesting that in your lungs, what do you think the reaction's going to be?
They're probably just burning in there, my poor lungs.
Your lungs are just burning when it gets into contact with those chemicals. So when all of those are persistent in the e-liquids, it's raising public health concerns.
Yeah, of course.
Because a lot of these young people don't know the health concerns. They don't know that they can contract this illness, and that is irreversible.
That's very true.
So, do you know the signs and the symptoms of popcorn lung?
I know a little bit of them. Do you want me to talk about
do you know any of them?
Yeah. So we have like a persistent dry cough, wheezing, shortness of breath, fatigue, nausea, weight loss, fever, and night sweats are going to be most of them for us.
That sounds like something that I do not want to go through.
Sounds like something I went through pregnancy, not with vaping.
I envy you. Okay, so with those symptoms, what do you think someone that is vaping that has those symptoms should do?
First things first, stop vaping.
Yes.
Second, find another way to cope with whatever you're using vaping for.
Exactly. So if you stop vaping and you stop taking that diacetyl, whatever flavoring that you have that has that diacetyl in it, it can stop the disease from progressing. However, if you do stop, it doesn't reverse that damage. So once that damage is there, that damage is there.
Okay.
So if you do think, or you're having any sort of breathing problems and you do vape, you should probably go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Get it checked out because you never really know what's happening, especially when it comes to your breathing, right? You need to breathe to live.
Exactly.
So if you do have any sort of health risk or any sort of symptom that you're having that you're like, wait, should I get this checked out? Should they go get it checked out?
I would urge you to check it out.
Definitely should get it checked out.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the prognosis and treatment? We kind of already went over that. There's no cure.
No cure.
There is no cure
Nothing
right
you can
now. Now, the only thing that you can do is focus on treatment that manages symptoms and slow the progression of the disease.
Yes.
Strategies for that include avoiding further chemical exposure. So just like Mrs. Cat said, you don't want to continue vaping. You want to stop that as soon as you can. Other things is reducing the inflammation by using treatment from your doctor. That could be a nebulizer treatment. That can be an inhaler.
Yes.
There's a lot of different things that the doctor can give you to prescribe that can reduce the symptoms but not totally get rid of the disease. In severe cases, they might consider a lung transplant, like you mentioned.
Okay.
Though the disease may reoccur if they continue vaping.
Of course.
So if they get that lung transplant, they're using that flavor that has diacetyl in it, they successfully get that transplant, everything goes good, their lungs are working. If they continue to vape, there's a good chance that it'll come back if they already had it.
Understandable.
Let's see. So there's some other harmful chemicals that not just diacetyl, right?
Yeah.
Diacetyl gives you that popcorn lung, but there's a lot of other chemicals that do a lot of other things to your body. Do you kind of want to go over those chemicals?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about them. So our other harmful chemicals that we are finding in vapes are going to be acrolein, which is just a toxic chemical used as a weed killer.
Weed killer?
Weed killer. I'm talking outside on the ground.
You're saying these kiddos are ingesting substances that have weed killer?
Yes,
Oh
weed
my
killer
God.
has been found in vapes, people. So this is just capable of causing acute lung injury and possibly leading to COPD. In addition to arsenalin, there's acetone and acetyl propanol, which is a diketone chemicals. They're often substituted for diacetyl, but they still carry those same and similar health risks as diacetyl does.
So if our youth continue to vape and it has those chemicals in it, they can still get popcorn lung?
Correct.
Okay.
Not only does diacetyl cause popcorn lung, any of these chemicals can cause it.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. There's also heavy metals released by our vapes. So vape devices use metal heating coils when they are heating that e-liquid. So it can degrade and release heavy metal particles into the aerosol. So all that vape aerosol that you're breathing in, little itty bitty tiny particles in there that are going into your lungs.
Metal?
Metal.
Actual metal is
I'm
going into my
talking
lungs.
like little shavings metal. Yes,
Wow.
sir. Yep,
Okay.
yep. There's also lead, which, as we know, lead is already very highly toxic to the brain and the nervous system. Yes, I know.
Yeah, lead?
Lead.
Okay.
Like the lead we find in our pencils.
Wow.
I know. There's also nickel, which is a carcinogen released from the heating coils.
Like the coin?
Yes, like the coin.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then there's tin. And so these metals have been found in these disposable vapes with levels rising over time. So instead of, as we would think all these levels of these chemicals would be decreasing, but instead we're finding that they're increasing over the years that vapes are still staying on the planet, essentially.
So the vape companies are still putting more and more of these chemicals?
More and more of these chemicals. I feel like they put a new chemical every year, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah. Would you like to kind of touch on some of our volatile organic compounds?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I mentioned earlier in our earlier session, we are going to be talking a lot about VOCs. And VOCs are those volatile organic compounds. Now, VOCs are gases emitted from certain liquids or solids. Examples are found in vape aerosols include benzene, toluene, and xylene. Exposure to these can irritate your eyes, it can irritate your nose, it can irritate your throat. It can also cause headaches and migraines. It can also cause harm to your liver, your kidneys, and your nervous system.
That is not good.
So it doesn't just attack your lungs, it almost attacks every organ in your body.
Yeah. So when we vape, it's not just affecting our lungs, it's affecting everything surrounding our lungs as well.
Yep.
Well, that's very interesting. I never knew that.
Yep. Other things that can happen, right, other dangerous substances that are found are ultrafine particles.
Yeah.
And inhalation of those tiny particles can cause those coughing, wheezing, breathing problems, and can cause asthma attacks.
So you mean when I used to put my vape in my pocket and I pulled it out and there was lint in it, that I actually inhaled that lint?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That when I was in the girls' restroom and they flushed the toilet and all those particles from the toilet went in the air, I inhaled
Yes,
that.
you did.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, you did. That's why, folks, do not vape in the bathroom.
That is nasty.
There is no actual good way to clean a vape.
Yeah.
When you're putting it in your pocket all day, when you're putting it in and out of your backpack, your purse, I've heard some people put it in their sock. There's all those particles and all those things that are in your pockets and in your sock and even in the air alone that can get on that vape that you are ingesting.
That's very nasty.
I know, it is so
Thank
nasty.
you for informing me on that one.
Other things that are in vapes is that vitamin E acetate.
Okay, what is that?
Vitamin E acetate is that thickening agent that was linked to a 2019 outbreak of severe lung illness that was connected to vaping.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yep.
I didn't hear about that.
Yep, so that e-liquid that the vaping companies produce to make more of it and to make it stretch longer. They add these thickening components to make it seem like that e-liquid is more than it actually is.
Oh, that's very interesting. So when I buy a vape and it says that I'm getting like 4 ounces of vape juice in it, I might only be getting like 3 ounces.
Correct, because the rest of it could be filled in with that vitamin E acetate.
Oh, very interesting. I never knew that.
And vitamin E makes it sound healthy. Vitamin E acetate is not healthy.
I was going to say vitamin E sounds like one of our daily vitamins that we may need.
Vitamin E is healthy. Vitamin E acetate is not.
Understood.
And then we have that propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin. Now, have you heard of those before?
I have, but isn't vegetable glycerin for food?
Yes. Yes. So vegetable glycerin and the propyl glycol, these are considered safe to ingest, right? Because like you just said, the vegetable glycerin is used in our food. However, long-term inhalation, just like diacetyl, effects are unknown. And when heated, they can break down into formaldehyde and acetaldehyde, both carcinogens.
I was just about to say, aren't those 2 known carcinogens?
Yeah, so even though, some substances are healthy for us to ingest through our stomach, right? Going through our stomach and our digestive system, it's not healthy for us to ingest.
Yeah.
So, making those decisions and knowing the information is really important when we're talking about vaping or, partaking in the act of vaping.
Agreed.
Is there anything else that you think we should let them know about the harmful effects or chemicals that are in vapes?
I think that they are probably already overwhelmed with how much we told them, and probably scared a little bit because of all those scary chemicals. So I think we should jump into their activity.
Let's do the fun activity then.
We'll see you guys there.
We'll see you there.
Hello, Lucas. Are you ready for our activity today?
Sure am. What are we doing?
All right. So today we're going to simulate 2 lungs, 1 healthy lung and 1 unhealthy lung. The materials you guys will need for this activity are going to be a bag of popcorn, 2 balloons, a baggie, and a cup if needed. So you're going to start by making your popcorn. Next, I'm going to have Mr. Lucas help me, and he is going to put some of this popcorn in this nice little Ziploc baggie for me here. Awesome, and we'll fill it up kind of a decent amount. Maybe just 1 more. Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our popcorn and we're going to crush it. We're going to crush it all up. So be careful. Don't make a mess in your classroom or whatever space you might be doing this in. But you want to crush up all your popcorn. You want really small pieces. Mr. Lucas here has the red balloon. And if you can for this activity, I would recommend getting pink and yellow balloons. It just kind of simulates a little bit better how to show a healthy lung versus an unhealthy lung. Our yellow balloon in this instance is going to be our unhealthy lung, and our red balloon is going to be our healthy lung, okay?
So this activity is to give you a visual of what a popcorn lung looks like in the body. So with Miss Catalina explaining, this is your lung without vaping or anything. It's your healthy lung. You breathe in and out. It's only breathing in oxygen, no vape aerosol or anything like that. And then this one is that unhealthy lung. It's that lung that has been vaping for a while, that lung that does have the diacetyl in it, and that lung that did contract that popcorn lung. So we're going to give you that visual representation of how both work and what it looks like when your lungs has popcorn versus what it looks like when it doesn't.
Alrighty. So I would recommend that you do this in partners. I'm going to have my partner here, Mr. Lucas. He's going to take my balloon and he's going to open it up oh so big like this so that he can put all that popcorn in there. But since I have it open, I'm just going to let him put that popcorn in there.
All right, when you do this, you got to be really, really careful because the popcorn is going to go everywhere. This is a messy project.
But it's okay. Who doesn't like messy? So, and you'll do this probably a couple times. You'll move down your popcorn, clean up your mess. Just because you do want a decent amount of popcorn in there so you can actually hear what it sounds like. I'll do about
Right.
one more. Awesome! So now we have our very cool balloon. It kind of looks like a little stress ball. You can see all that popcorn up in there. And the difference, I'm going to have Mr. Lucas blow up his little healthy lung right now. Awesome. Very healthy lung. You didn't hear anything. It sounded super nice. Now we're going to do our nasty popcorn balloon filled one. Alright. And that's what it sounds like. So that shaking you hear, that kind of wheezing, raspiness, is kind of what that unhealthy lung sounds like. And this is the activity you guys are going to do. If you guys have any questions, all the materials are going to be in the bio. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everyone, welcome back. So this is our activity to kind of give you another visualization on what the popcorn lung looks. So I want to introduce you to somebody really important to me and Miss Catalina. This is Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve will be our visual representation for the health effects that happen to your body when vaping. So for this one, I'm going to show you what the popcorn looks like. So when you're vaping, I'm just going to use this gray marker to show the vape aerosol going into your lungs. So as we see, there's the air, the aerosol. And then once it gets into your lungs, we started talking about how it creates those pockets around that vape aerosol in your lungs. So I'm just going to do those little pockets. And then I'm going to color it in as yellow. It's not yellow in real life, but the reason I'm doing it yellow is so we know that it is popcorn lung. Okay, and then I'm going to color this lung pink to show that it's a healthy one. Just so you can see the difference between what a popcorn lung looks like versus a healthy lung. So there you go. There's Mr. Steve for Unit 2 of the popcorn lung. You can follow along by drawing your own Steve and coloring the different organs as we go through the different sessions.